So, what was your experience like at Anna University?
Around between 90s, it was actually a very solid set of teachers who were there at the school at the time, and a very open culture. I think now it's become a little more strict. It was really quite liberal at the time, and we got to travel every year. There was a travel component, the study tours,
Yeah.
and we took part in the inter-college competitions as well. Very good faculty, and we learned a lot from our peers and from our seniors,
Yeah.
because there were only 35 students in each class, and there were 5 years. So it was a very close-knit college environment. Of course, being set within the larger university, we also had friends in other colleges, like the College of Engineering and AC Tech. But I think the School of Architecture was its own little world.
Yeah, its own little ecosystem.
Yeah, it was its own little ecosystem. It was a really very positive experience. I loved it.
Was it the same building that's there today that you studied in?
Yes, it's the same building. I think so many things have not changed at all.
Okay.
I think the school has become a little more strict just in terms of allowing people to come in and out. When we were there, it was this open place where you could walk in and out any time of the day or night. And sometimes we'd spend all night working on studio projects or on NASA in the college. I think you can't do that anymore.
And you stayed on campus?
Yes, I was in the hostel.
In the hostel, okay.
I was in the hostel, and that was also, I think, an important part of that whole being independent and growing up experience. Of course, I always had my grandparents' house because my grandparents lived in Chennai.
Okay.
So I'd go there sometimes for the weekends. And but yes, I spent the entire 5 years on campus.
Okay. And you'd also mentioned that you had a very difficult moment in the first year of college.
Yes, actually. So this was, my mom was actually one of the people who planted the seed of the idea of architecture in my mind when we were building this house when I was growing up. And she said, this sounds like an interesting career option. It's fascinating. And so that was one of the reasons that I actually pursued it further.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in my first year of undergraduate school, she passed away very suddenly. So just a few weeks before my 18th birthday. My grandmother at that time, who was severely diabetic, had a health setback and she died suddenly. And my parents, who were living in Calcutta, had flown down for the funeral. And for inexplicable reasons, she kind of had a cerebral hemorrhage and passed away. So she didn't get to see me become an architect.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she's very proud.
Absolutely. But that is something that you said, something that struck me at that time, where you said that made you grow up very quickly and overnight, right?
Absolutely.
And it's not a challenge anyone wants to have to face. But the thing is, when you're studying as you said, when you're just 18, that sort of thing sort of steals you towards, becoming a stronger person.
Absolutely.
Going forward.
So I think it was a huge shock, naturally.
Yeah.
And I was already quite independent as a person, but this set of circumstances made me completely be self-reliant and sort of take care of a lot of things on my own. So.
And now, moving forward from this was in your first year.
Yeah.
And in your second year of college, there was a big project that you guys worked on, was in Thanjavur.
Right. So as I was mentioning, at that time, and I think even now, schools have a very interesting way of bringing together students from various architecture schools. So the National Association of Students of Architecture has these annual meets where along certain themes, different schools put together projects and then they sort of compete, if you will,
Yeah.
against each other. So we took part in a competition which was focused on developing the area in and around the big temple in Tanjavur.
Yeah.
And I was part of a team. Of course, I was only in my second year, but I was part of this team, which was led by seniors,
Yeah.
to look at how the urban environment could really complement the redevelopment and bring more tourism and sort of upgrade the infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was my first exposure to looking at something that was beyond the scale of a building, because we were still looking at, a cottage and a nurse, primary school. Those are the kind of buildings you're looking at in your first few years in architecture. But for me, I was fascinated by the scale of looking at how, through good design, you could impact the built environment. And of course, our group went on to win a prize in that competition as well. And so it got me thinking about a scale bigger than that of a building, and that sort of stayed with me throughout the rest of my undergraduate degree as well.
Yeah.
The fascination of not only the building in itself, but also its
What goes
connection,
around it.
its connection to the larger built environment.
And was there any one person who sort of inspired you with this, or sort of said something that got you really interested in
So,
public spaces?
so there were several of our seniors who were very focused on guiding this project, but also some faculty members at the time, Professor Ravi, Professor Rani come to mind, who were really good at, introducing that sense of scale to us as architecture students, the sort of general awareness of the larger scheme of things.
Okay. So now this is the second year.
Yeah.
But there was one more that I really like to hear about, was your thesis at the Madras Government Museum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they really guide us to do design-oriented projects in architecture, because obviously you are a B.Arch student, but I was by this time quite fascinated by urban issues. And so I wanted to somehow combine architecture and urbanism. So for my thesis project, I looked at the museum complex in Egmore, which is actually not so different than it is now.
Yeah.
And
Not at all.
And I thought it would be very fascinating to look at it as a kind of a cultural hub or a cultural core. And I focused my thesis on additions to existing heritage buildings and looked at that as an area of focus. And I was so excited about my project. I even went back to the museum and I made a small presentation as a 22-year-old saying, look, I have all these ideas for Chennai Museum to be, a world-class.
So how did you even get that appointment? Did you just...
I just walked in.
And they gave you an appointment straight away?
Absolutely. I just walked in and said, I've done this. I've studied your building. I've made drawings of your building, and I have some ideas on what it could be like. And they were like, yeah, sure, no problem.
So that's a lesson to anyone who is watching this, is if people think, I'm not going to get an appointment, no harm in trying.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I can tell you now, so many years after that, I still do that.
Yeah.
If I have an idea or if I have a thought and I want to share that with someone, I just knock on the door and say, hey, can we speak about it?
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, they always say yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll be surprised how open people are.
So how did that go finally? I mean, did the museum
Nothing came out of it.
Okay. Obviously, because I, as I mentioned to you, I used to go to the museum. My mom used to take me there a lot when I was a young kid. And I used to think that why is there no place to, sit and have lunch after we're done with the museum, and we'd end up crossing the road and buy sandwiches from that Bombay sandwich wala.
Yeah.
And then we'd head back. So there was no place to just sit within the museum itself.
True.
Which would have been...
That started for me a lifelong interest in museums. So even now, wherever I travel, I just love to spend time in museums. It's just, I think the idea of storytelling and having that connect to the past and many times to the future, because there's also a contemporary gallery
Yeah.
there. So it's very fascinating.
Yeah.